So, uh, I want to say, I was introduced like something crazy is going to happen now. Like I will write a few equations and blow your mind. I hope not to do this. I want to start with rather a simple question. And it will be something like, it should move. Okay. So the question will sound like, what's the difference between apple and the water? Your versions. You might think like there is a bunch of differences. Like they're fundamentally different. Like the apples, you can like eat them, bite them, like throws to someone. But if I try to throw the water, this was the purpose. I will not probably do this because it will splash and everything will be in water. This is not what we want. But with water, I may like drink it. But with an apple, it would be probably impossible because of apples are not drinkable unless you make maybe a smoothie. So the point is that this is a really interesting feature, but where it originates from is only one difference. Basically, you can count apples, but can you count water? Probably not. You will not be counting like molecules of water, like saying, I drank to the 10 to the 23rd molecules today of water. And you will be like, ooh, I'm a smart guy. Probably not, because it will sound a bit crazy. You're not counting molecules, but with apples it works. And what's really interesting is that there are two exactly same theories in physics which work just like apples and water. One is about big things and the universe, and the other is about small and tiny stuff, which works just like apples. So let me move to the next slide. Could you please assist me? All right. So I want to really tell you about something named general relativity. This is our water. So general relativity is all about the continuous stuff. It's like Fields, Einstein, you know, like 100 years ago, there was this crazy scientist who came up with 5 things in 1 year and developed the physics. It was Einstein, really. So he came up with a theory that could describe the gravity. The gravity of our world, like how Earth is spinning around the sun and like why things stick to like our planet, why skyscrapers are not flying to the moon. So the point is that, you know, if you try to put something like, this is a bad sheet, imagine like there is a bad sheet. You put some mass on it, what would happen? It will probably curve like this. And then you like have a small ball and just put it on it, like this ball. What it will do? Probably it will circle around, but in the end it will reach this ball and they will stick together. This is an effect of the gravity, because you can also imagine like the skyscrapers, like you put them there and they're like slowly rolling to the earth. It's crazy, but this is what is really happening. What is really happening with our sun, for example. And you may think like, why on earth would we need this theory? Like, what are the applications really? Can you use it somehow? Well, how often do you use this device? Like, where was the clicker? Okay, it's named Global Positioning System. How often do you use it, guys? I mean, like maybe once a day. Who is using it once a day? Oh, okay, it's like everyone here. So there is a fun fact. If no one like counted the general relativity in like on the satellites, your location would be probably not here, but a kilometer from there, or maybe on Alaska. Would it be useful? Honestly, not, because of like then you have to commute like 24 hours to get to the statics. This is not the thing that we want. We want something really precise. So what's really happening with our universe, like so that there is this effect of time dilation. It's named time dilation. Basically, our satellites, they are like kind of slowed down in comparison to Earth. The stuff that is on Earth, it's kind of spinning slower than the satellites. So satellites are slowed down. And because of it, there is a shift in time. And the shift in time times velocity means difference in location. So basically, you can be on Venus or somewhere. This is where it originates from. And this is our water. But what about apples? I promised you the other theory. The other theory is quantum physics. So I want to ask you another basic question. How often do you use this device? Okay, raise a hand if you use it once a day. Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, come on. Someone is even holding it now. So, so I want to tell you that the quantum physics is the reason why you can hold it in your hands. Why? Because of, if not quantum physics, there would be no semiconductors, and thus no transistors. And the transistors are the building blocks of our phones. Why they are so small? Otherwise, we would be like carrying a phone with the size of this like class or hall. It would be impossible, like putting it into pocket, unless we are like Hermione Granger and we have like this extension bag, like we can put anything in it. But of course, like having a phone of this size, pretty much fantastic, and we can get even smaller. So it's all on quantum mechanics, and this is our apples, the divisible stuff. But there is one point. If you want to have two theories at once, just like quantum mechanics, like quantum physics, plus the water, suddenly it stops working because of apples and water, they are not functioning with the same laws. What should we do then? And like, how can we combine two grand theories of universe? Basically, this is named, I want to rather say, like, why would we need it in the first place? Why would we need to combine two big theories? Probably because we want to time travel. Do you want to time travel? Like back in the past, or maybe like move with the speed of faster than the speed of light and like go to other galaxies. Well, if you want, like then you need it. Then you need something to combine the general relativity and quantum mechanics. For example, if you are going to black holes are objects of the biggest gravity in our universe. It's kind of crazy thing that the curvature is infinite and like all the strange stuff is happening there. But if you're going like on the horizon, it's all right. Physics is working. But when you're going just a centimeter, millimeter, nanometer inside, boom, all the physics crashed because of you don't know what is inside. You don't know. The quantum physics of the matter inside is unknown to us. But physicists really wanted to combat it because of inside the black holes there might be another universe, or maybe inside going through the black hole. Like, who watched the film Interstellar? Raise your hands, guys. Of course, and even feet. So basically, there might be some opportunity to go through the wormhole and go into some other place. This is what we really want. And for this, we need something that combines both. And this is a string theory. Finally, we reached the point. So what is really the string theory? You know, like, you may think, like, what a crazy stuff you are telling. Like, some threads that are, like they can simulate the physics of the world. We make out of them our clothes, actually. But in reality, yeah, we can simulate with the simple threads really complex stuff. How? The point is that in string theory, there are two types of strings. Ones are closed, those are the closed strings, and the others are open. Basically, like, it has an end and it has a tail. So, two. And the point is that the open strings in this theory are the matter, what we have around. Like, our body, anything that we can touch. And the closed strings are the photons, the energy, the transmission of most of the stuff. They are like fields and forces. And using those two, you can suddenly say, ooh, maybe the closed strings should be gravity, like gravitons, you know? And voila, you have the gravity in your theory. You have both the quantum physics of open strings plus interactions of the photons, because they're electromagnetic radiation and all this stuff, and the gravity, because it's pretty much the same. And you can get any energy. You know, like, how you can say some particles are more excited. Like, when you are jumping, you're probably happy. When you are like going sad, you have less energy. So the particles can also be excited and can be actually slowed down. They can be lazy. So you can pretty much simulate with the strings to different type of people. one is going to be rather lazy because it like oscillates very slowly. And the other one is going to be excited because there are a lot of like string oscillations. And with those you can simulate different types of photons, which are going to be like red or blue or gravitons again. And this is beautiful. So maybe go to the next slide. So there is just one problem. The string theory has 24 dimensions of space and 1 dimension of time. It's kind of problematic because of like, we live in a 3-dimensional world. Can you imagine like 4 dimensions? Probably it's hard, but can you imagine 25 dimensions? Likely not. So the scientists had to really like squeeze their brains to find a way to really like make it compact so that we would really understand how it's working. So they thought like, okay, we have 24 dimensions of space and 1 dimension of time. Maybe we can condense them. Maybe we can pack them into 8 dimensions. 8 dimensions of space and 1 dimension of time. So what's the use? It's still 8 dimensions. The point is that we will have like 3 dimensions of our space, just like our bodies, like we can easily imagine it. And then other dimensions would be compact. They would be circled around. Like, you know, if you look on the cone, if you're moving in a tunnel, like imagine you're moving in a tunnel, you have some space there. You can move forward and back between 2 like sides of the tunnel. But then like you look on the Google cards, and this is just like a small road, thin road, like when you're moving on the road. So kind of, you see, the dimension disappeared. It turned into one string. But there was a dimension. And you can make this stuff with this object. You can condense it into, like, even though it's an 8-dimensional object, you can turn it into 3-dimensional object because of you can compact them. And I want to tell you again, the main use of string theory is finding the new pathways for our future, developing new technologies and maybe discovering our true reality, like what we are capable of. And it's pretty much simplistic, again, the threads and the strings, what we wear every day. So every time you face with something really simplistic, don't take it like it's too simple. Think of the applications. You may find something really profound. Thank you. I will.
Now meet our
Thank you.
next speaker, Sevara Kurbanova. What will you like to
It was interesting.
Interesting?
Yeah, thank you.
What about nervousness?
I don't feel it anymore.
Respect, man.
Aha, I forgot everything. Sorry.
our lives and yeah, that's it. So to start, like I'm kind of shaking. It's like a first time. Anyway. We always, copy the habits, they copy the behaviors. We don't have the earliest actions, right? We don't have earliest habits ourselves. We always copy them. We, copy the script handed down by our friends, local community, and society at large. And these social norms provide us kind of peer pressure that pulls us towards their direction. For example, they gives us the kind of rules that pulls towards them. For example, when and whether to get married, how many children to have, how much money to spend on child's birthday party, or which holiday to celebrate at all. And these social norms, like an invisible rules that guide our behavior each day without us realizing it, without us questioning it, and without us remembering about them. And the thing is, we always trying to look forward to the things that we look to other people, how we can provide, how we can copy their habits, right? Sorry guys, I'm really, as the French philosopher wrote, the customs and practices of life sweep us along. What does it mean? For example, as I said, I'm talking a lot about copying. Why? Because this is our life, right? We can't even like work without like fitting into the jobs, right? Because fitting in, like behaviors are becoming attractive and they help us fit in. But fitting in is not even a problem. It's not even like a bottleneck in our lives. But where we are trying to fit in, we're not even asking ourselves. We're not even questioning about those things. Because cultures are really, really different in many ways. For example, let's take an example like a Spain. In Spain, there is a village where everyone thinks like putting the babies on the ground and jump over them in a white jacket. And they think that this habit is keeping the demons away from the babies, from like how they can protect their babies from just doing this habit. And this is really normal for them. But imagine doing the same thing in Uzbekistan, in Tashkent. Believe me or not, you'll be really popular the very next day, not only in Tashkent, but in the whole Uzbekistan. Because this is not normal in our culture and the society. And the thing is, why we copy? Like, to grow. Because personal growth and change is no longer an individual pursuit. And previously, you were on your own. Like, you are reader, you are an athlete, you are a musician. But when you're joining a book club or a cycling group or, for example, a band, your identity becomes shared to those around you, becomes linked to those around you. And change is no longer an individual pursuit because right now we are readers, we are musicians, and we are athletes, right? So, by the way, about the peer pressure, do you guys know who's Mike Massimino? He's a great astronaut. He's a graduate student at MIT. And first, when he was joining a robotic class, no one was interested in like astronaut stuff, right? But when your goal was to make it into space, then that the culture was the best, that the room was the best culture you could ask for. Because of the 10 people in the class, 4 became astronauts. That is about the peer pressure you feel. That is about the peer pressure that pulls you towards their direction. And about the parents. We always copy, the way our parents handle arguments, the way our peers flirt with one another, the way the way our coworkers get results, because that is how life works. That is how we grow and change. And the next thing, sorry. Thank you. So the most effective thing you can do to build a better habit, better life, better, behavior is to join a culture where your normal behavior, like your desired behavior is the normal behavior for their culture. Because new habits seem achievable when you see others doing them every day. For example, when you're surrounded by fit people, you're more likely to think that it's like reasonable to do a train works every day. But when you're surrounded by jazz lovers, you're more likely to consider to playing jazz every day to be a common habit, right? So when you're joining a culture where you have a lot of desired behaviors and you will rise together, believe me or not. So environment design allows allows you to take back control of your life. So you can be the designer of your world and alter the spaces, the people where you live in, and to increase your exposure to positive cues and reduce your exposure to negative ones at the same time. So be the designer of your world and not merely the consumer of it. Thank you. I don't deserve this.
Wow, thank you. Sorry for technical issues. Okay, sorry. Damn, that's a lot. So, I had a little spoilers, but that's good. Now, I would love to start my speech with a little warm up. See, and I need everyone's participation. Are you up for it? Yes? Thank you so much. Thank you. Now, I know for a fact that a lot of you took the IELTS test. And if there's anyone who couldn't achieve their dream score, could you please do me a favor and raise your hands, please? No. Oh, a lot more than I expected. What about the SAT? I know a lot of people took SATs, and is there anyone who couldn't achieve their dream score? See, more than I expected. Now, at this point, I'm not even going to ask who entered the foreign universities, because I know for a fact that most of you couldn't. And because you guys are failures, and you are the disappointment of your family. Now, I'm so sorry. My introduction was a little rude and a little disrespectful, but I really needed to get your attention. Now, let's introduce myself properly this time. Good afternoon, I'm Hamjan Abdullayev, and I'm here to talk about curing your mistakes like a gold does. Now imagine you are a caveman, and you have children. You have to feed them. What do? You go and hunt the bears. How do you do this? You find a tree, you attach the log with the ropes, and you put the honey, because those funky donkeys like it. Now, when the bear tries to get the honey, he pushes the log. Now, we all know from the physics, when you push any object, it returns to you, and it hits with the same power. Now, the same thing happens with the bear, and he tries to get the honey, he pushes the log hits him back. And he repeats the cycle again and again and again until he dies. Now, fortunately, we're humans, and we can learn from our failures, and the only difference between us, humans and animals, is how our brain functions, how our mindset works. Now, for that, you have to, it might sound a little weird, but you have to double your rate of failure. Now, I have been scrolling on Instagram recently, and I have seen these motivational reels that are saying like, bro, failure is not an option. Now, really? It better be, thank you, Muzaffar. Now, failure better be the option, because whether you want it or not, it's going to happen. And if you just ignore it, and if you just don't face the truth, you're not going to face the opportunities. Now, who's the most famous basketball player of all time? Michael Jordan, of course, Mr. Michael Jordan himself. Now, when he was at the high school, he wasn't accepted to his basketball team because he was too short for it. Now, what happened after 2 years? He grew up himself for 4 inches, became better at basketball, and started his journey to become the best NBA player of all time. Who is the most famous president of United States? Joe Biden. Trump. No, I wasn't expecting that. Barack Obama. Okay. A lot of people are saying Trump and Biden, but I would agree with Abraham Lincoln, to be honest. And why? Because he was the master of failure. Why? He lost a lot of elections, and who knows, maybe if he used this same function, failure is not an option, maybe we wouldn't see him in White House, and who knows, maybe United States would be different right now. Maybe, who knows, it wouldn't exist. Now, going on for next, look at this cutie. Look at this cute baby. Now, he's trying to walk right now. He puts some steps and he falls. And what are you going to do? What are you gonna do, literally? Try it again, and see, and again. But see, whether you want it or not, babies always succeed in walking. Why? Because they don't blame other factors. Because without acknowledgement, they take the responsibility. And what about us? What about us? We blame everything. We blame IDP, we blame British Council, we blame College Board, we blame economy, we blame government, we blame Westminster Presidential School International House for bad GPAs. We blame everything, everyone, except for ourselves. Now, do the thing and you shall have the power. Now, I completely agree with this because the right attitude, the positive attitude, results in positive outcomes, and the cycle repeats again. And the same happens with the negative. When you think negatively, you will have negative results, and you should keep this in mind. Now,